Oh, should I make this my thumbnail? Wow, thumbnail, wow. Hi everybody, my name is Kelly Meng and I've been making social media cooking videos for about 2 years now. And I finally feel qualified to talk about my process on how I create these videos. Today I'll be going through the cameras that I use and why I use certain cameras for certain situations, as well as all of the camera gear that I use, the tripods, as well as the lighting and microphones. My goal of sharing this information is so that you feel inspired to share your own cooking journey with the rest of us. I feel like it's always fun to watch. Aside from the tripod and the lights, everything fits in this box. Shall we get started? Wow. All right, I brought a chair so I could sit down. So it's kind of like we're all hanging out. The very first camera that we cannot overlook is your phone. When I first started, I had an iPhone 11, and now I've upgraded to the iPhone 14 Pro. The 14 Pro is still sufficient enough for me to make pretty high quality videos for both myself and brands without seeing a need for an upgrade. This is the most frictionless option for you if you want to start. So we can talk about the front camera, and we can also talk about the back camera. Usually you're going to want to use your back camera to record. However, I've noticed that with the front camera, you can also make it work. Like, it's not so bad to the point where you can't make any content with it. Like, it's still very much usable. A more technical aspect of using your phone is that it usually has self-editing aspects. So that usually means there's very minimal editing that needs to happen. Like, the white balance is gonna be good, usually the brightness is gonna be good, and because it's self-editing, you don't have to worry about that. Another great reason why I use my iPhone is because I like to record some self-contained videos on TikTok. Sometimes there even is a layer of friction for using your phone camera to record it all and then put it into a separate app on your phone to edit it. Sometimes I just wanna open the TikTok app and have it face toward me and then talk to the camera or like do whatever I need to do and then edit it on TikTok and then save it from TikTok and then syndicate it. Closing thoughts, your phone's a great place to start, but don't think that you have to graduate from your phone. This is a great place to start. This is a great place to see if you even want to do content creation, either as a hobby or as your career, and then you can move from there if you want to move from there. You don't even have to. That's the great part. I would like to introduce you to the next best option if you want to level up your camera game just a tiny bit. Introducing my lifelong, beautiful favorite camera in the entire world, the Sony ZV-1. This is such a reliable camera. It has all of the specs that you would need for a good vlogging camera or even a short form camera. First and foremost, it's extremely compact. It fits in my hand and it's very, very light. It has everything you need. It has a hot shoe mount. The monitor can be flipped. And I already alluded to this earlier, but so many people buy this camera and then sell it immediately because they don't want to actually pursue the thing that they thought they wanted to do, which is totally fine, right? But because of that, you can find this secondhand in so many places. For the most part, it's like, I love this camera. It's such a great camera. It's such a great camera. I only own 3 cameras, and the Sony ZV-1 and the iPhone are the things I oscillate between every single day. Now, the camera that I'm shooting this video on, that obviously I can't show you in my hand because I don't have any other way to record the video, is a Sony ZV-E1. And I have a pretty wide angle lens that I can't remember the name of right now, but I'll put it right here on the screen so that you can see what it is. This is a great option if you really want that cinematic, high definition, full frame 4K look. But for me, making the types of videos that I make, which aren't super cinematic and I think more lackadaisical, leaning silly, this didn't make sense for me to use every single day because it doesn't equate to the same level of relatability. Like, if it gets too high def, then you stop wanting to make the food, which that's my ultimate goal, for you to feel compelled and inspired enough to make the food that I cook. You don't need it, but if you really want to invest and really want to target that cinematic crowd, highly recommend this camera. Now that we've talked about cameras, let's talk a little bit about camera gear and the different situations that you'll use each of these. My most used equipment that I use, again, every single day with my Sony ZV-1 is an L bracket. The great thing about having an L mount for your short film content is that now your camera can just stand up like this. Now, I'm aware that it looks a little bit ominous when it's just hanging out and standing there, but it doesn't detract from the screen. Pretend that I'm standing here and mixing something. I can very quickly just turn on that camera, mix something here, and it's a good shot. I think it also serves as a great transition piece between tripods. So instead of having like the plate on which you have to screw things in, you can just take the plate off completely, slide it between each of your tripods, and it works. So the primary reason is because it's functional enough as a stabilizing tool for you to just use this as your main setup. Like, this is what I use all the time. It's awesome. You want to talk about the dream setup? This is the dream setup, okay? The L bracket, your point and shoot camera, and a Z head. This is from Edelkrone. I love this thing so freaking much. I love this thing so freaking much. I got this secondhand also from Facebook Marketplace. The reason why I would encourage you to get something a little bit more high end, maybe secondhand, is because ever since I bought this, again, secondhand, okay? Ever since I bought this, I've never ever tightened the hinges. I've seen that some of the cheaper alternatives on Amazon, you have to tighten these all the time. And whenever they get loose, it just starts to sag. If I'm, recording a video with this, I now have the mobility and range of motion to be able to, first of all, be countertop. Like, you don't even have to use this with a tripod, and record like this. Like, I can now get this shot. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, I primarily just use this tabletop. Whatever my tools are at my disposal, like those jars, I always just find myself putting these on top of the jars. Here's my blanket statement. If you're gonna get anything from this video, get an Edelkrone secondhand Z mount and get an L bracket. Like, that's everything you could need. Now, those two were recommendations for items if you're using a point and shoot, but I think the same can be said about a Z mount and a phone stand. There are usually two types of mechanics for you to hold your phone in place. This is a screw-on, so you can tighten it, you can loosen it. This, I think I prefer a little bit more than the traditional spring, because the spring, sometimes it can catch your finger in it and it hurts, or the springiness loses traction over time. So I would recommend something that is screw like this, but the only thing it's missing is the hot shoe mount. This next portion might not pertain to you at all, because if you're just starting out, you might want to just do ASMR cooking, or you might want to do like fun music cooking. So take this as you please. First, let's start with a microphone that, funny enough, has stayed in my arsenal for years now, okay? This is the microphone that I use for all of my voiceovers. This is from the brand Comica. This is a well-rounded microphone. I got it for like $30, and I primarily got it because I was, back in the day, wanting to vlog. I found that in close range, like right here, with this attachment, this is an awesome, awesome setup for a voiceover.
Okay, this is usually how I do my voiceovers. I am this close, and this is exactly how it sounds. I think it sounds really great. Also, I'm gonna say a couple of the hard letters. P. Right? It doesn't sound that bad.
If you want a budget option, honestly, this works. It's not conventional, but it does work. If you do expect yourself to cook and talk at the same time, I really like this microphone, so stay with me. This is obviously the one that I'm using right now. This is the Hollyland Lark M2. Whenever I'm doing chatty cooking, or whenever I'm making a cocktail, I find myself using this all the time. It's great. Also, can we talk about when everything became like AirPodified? This comes with a camera adapter as well as two microphones. Do I ever think I'm gonna use two microphones? No, but I'm glad I got two, because guess what? I lost one. Like, this is empty right now because I'm using one, and the other one is in the ether. I have no idea where it went. I also got two adapters for mobile, so I got both USB-C and Lightning. Always constantly playing with the different placements to see what sounds the best, and I can't even tell you if this sounds the best, but I think it sounds good enough. The last two topics I'm gonna tread really carefully on, mostly because I think there's still work to be done on my part. The first being lighting, and the second being tripods. I still don't think that my lighting is that great. In fact, I edit most of it in post, but just know that nothing is as good as direct sunlight. This is the light that I found myself using all the time for phone videos, because look at how nice it makes me look. This is like an awesome setup for making like talking videos. I can't sit here and make this video without talking about the crown jewel of my apartment, this giant studio light. I'm not gonna sit here and not recommend it, okay? It's a great light, but is it wieldy? No, it's huge. But then it goes into like professional AV territory. You really have to know how to work with light to make this look good. I don't even think that I know how to make this look good. Look at this giant glare on my refrigerator. I never know how to get rid of that. So if you have like brighter overhead lights, I find that you don't even need a studio light. I don't have great overhead lights. In fact, aside from this one and this one, I don't have any overhead lights. And I don't know if you can tell, but these are warm, really, really warm lights. So my apartment building did me dirty with that one. My last topic for today, tripods, okay? I have two tripods. They're not name brand tripods, they're just from Amazon. One I love, and I think everyone should have. One I actually actively dislike and don't recommend it, but I don't have another better suggestion. It's a straightforward tripod. I'm gonna include some B-roll right here because I obviously can't show you because I'm recording on it, but I think it's great. It's really adjustable and it has the snap locking mechanism instead of some of the other ones are twist. And it's really adjustable, and there's one section of it, you can make it into a vertical shot if you really wanted to. Assuming that you have the space, you really wanna get one that has regular legs, and then it comes up from here. If you can avoid it, you don't want one that's like super duper skinny and has the legs all like concentrated at the bottom. The reason is because, especially as you move on to heavier cameras, like the time that you spend stabilizing the flimsy ass top is just going to be so much time, because each time you press it, the stabilization is not there. All right, guys, this is my comprehensive list of everything that I've used historically to be able to make short form content in the way that I have up to this point. By no means am I sitting here and saying that you have to go out and get all these tools and do all these things in order to make perfect content. In fact, I think excellence comes from using what you have at your disposal and really getting great at using those. Then everything else is just an added bonus. Best of luck. Let me know if you have any questions, and happy creating. Bye, guys.